everybody, welcome back to Skirts and Words. Today we are shooting on location like a boss at the Workers Tavern in Astoria, Oregon, which Diana owns.
I own this tavern in this building, 1905.
It's super awesome. The nachos, the best.
I am full of dirty fries, and they had grilled onions, and so I'm glad that we have a little bit of distance.
Grilled onions, bacon, cheese.
They were amazing.
Super healthy.
It's
High-end healthy.
protein and dairy and vegetables.
And good American potato carbs. Yep.
Yeah. Can't beat it. So this is part 2 of our interview with you.
I am so popular. I get 2 words.
We had so much fun last night.
We talked about a lot of bloody things.
We did.
We made a huge discovery about you. It was fun. I won't forget it. Diva cups galore. Woo!
That's right.
Hard pass.
But today we're going to talk about how writing is like therapy a bit, and kind of what we get out of sharing our stories with all of you.
Yep. But first I'm going to do this super classy thing, which is when you own the building, you can kind of go like this with your gum.
Okay. I thought you were going to put it behind your ear, and I was going to be like, we're out.
Not with long hair.
We're done.
Not with long hair. No, that would be smart. But like this would be.
So not very many people know this, but Jen is an excellent writer.
Yes.
No one knows it because I don't.
Because she won't go public. Step 2 of being a writer is going public.
So clearly, I am the most mentally fraught of the 3 because you've gotten it out, and I still have it in here.
I've gotten it like vagina out. Like big out.
Vajout?
Vajout.
Is that what you would
Didn't we have a word last time? What was that? It was something.
It's vajazzled.
No, it wasn't vajazzled. It was someone had said it was more than amazing. I can't remember. Maybe I saw that on the Kardashian show.
How did we end up back on this already? Like, it's been 2 minutes, and you're already horrifying me.
Let's go back to your writing. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're out with our writing. We're out.
Yeah.
So you guys are more
You are
mentally
private
sound. I'm still
with it.
a hot mess.
Yeah.
Until I get it out.
I can't wait. We should have like a party or something.
I've regaled them with stories on the way here already.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're out in your own way. You just don't know it. Just haven't been put in words.
Well,
We'll bring you a suit of armor for the criticism that comes. But I haven't had super bad criticism, so.
And I haven't either.
Yeah.
I've gotten 2 a.m. texts from
me
people
too.
that like know my mom. Like, I don't even know who these people are, but they think I'm amazing. So, I mean, it's been really unexpected, but in the best of ways.
that's one thing that I was thinking about the other day is I don't know that I can ever go back to a job where I am not showered with compliments every day. I really don't think I can, because I came from working for the government where no one showers you with compliments generally.
Never.
And to opening the bookstore where strangers come up and tell me what an awesome idea it is and how great the building is, and I'm like, I know!
It's almost like someone else did it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that way too about my
I just don't think that I
successes.
could ever go back to like working at Joann's or something and being like, do you
With
understand
customer
that
service?
I'm outstanding? Do you understand this right now?
Do you know how many people know I'm outstanding?
Yeah, and they're like, can you cut my fabric? Like, while we're doing this? So I don't think I can ever not own a bookstore, ever.
If you were cutting fabric at Joann's, I might learn to sew.
Yeah,
I would have a really large pile of stuff I never did anything with.
so I could regale you with stories.
You could. It'd be more fun because usually when I'm at Joann's, I'm slightly frustrated, I'm a little scared. I have high expectations. The fabric's unsatisfying.
Yeah. I had an unsatisfying experience at Lowe's yesterday, and I was very about to panic. And the less the guy would help me, the higher my voice got. And I'm like, yes, let me do it myself.
That's because you're trying to keep it in.
Yeah.
That's one step before passive aggressive. Is when you're like trying to keep it in and you're like feeling frustrated.
Because I was like, is there someone else that could
Oh,
help
I've
me with
done
this
that.
right now? Because I'm not getting what I need.
Yeah, this relationship doesn't work. I need a pass.
Yeah.
I need a pass. You and I in the world don't ever communicate well, so let's move on.
Yeah, and no, there wasn't. So I found it myself. But I was close to getting almost me.
I have on the phone said I need to speak to another customer support person because I can't keep my cool with you.
Yeah.
I'm too frustrated. Yeah.
I'm usually pretty good at it, but I don't know, every once in a while.
So you're going to come out with your writing. We've come out.
Yeah.
I'm still in the closet.
What do you write about?
That's one thing that has kept me from writing is that I do my best writing in a place of hurt.
And it's fantastic.
And it's
That's
so
where
good.
everybody
So
writes.
good.
No, but and I don't know that I want to revisit those places because I have a really hard time writing fiction when I have so much nonfiction to write about. But I don't know that I want to torture myself with all of those things again. You know what I mean?
Well, you don't have to. You should just write what you want to write, like whatever comes. And you don't. It sounds like you're trying to force yourself into a genre you don't have to do.
I just want to write snarky, weird things. I don't know.
How white of you.
I know, right? Exactly.
How blonde hair, blue-eyed of you.
You've
I
been
just
spending
wanna-
too much time with the hipsters in your coffee shop.
Yeah, who are all bitter.
Yeah.
No, that's like the side effect of bitterness. It's just this thing. I wrote this piece once that said, grace is the hair thin slip between gratitude and bitterness. That's where you find grace, because you got to have both, right? And right now our society is all about bitterness, and we're all about negativity and criticism, and that's social media birthed that. You know what I mean? And so I find it almost easy to be snarky because it's so accepting. Like I notice on social media, if I post something where I'm bitching or complaining or negative, people are all over it. If I write something positive, some people are over it. But really, the negative stuff is where people are all like, yeah. And
But
I
I
just
feel
hate
like-
that. I want to go against it because it's too popular.
Well, it might not even be snarky. It's just some of the things that I write about. I feel like I don't like to make people uncomfortable, and so I want to inject
Oh,
humor.
well, then you need to stop writing.
I
You
know.
want people to feel.
I know, so I
you
want
want them to
infuse it
feel
with humor,
sad
so they're
or
like,
happy.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
I watched my mom die, but like it's okay. Like, I don't know.
Well, keep working on it. You'll find a way to do
There's
it.
like this writer's retreat or whatever that some lady's gonna run. I guess I'm gonna go to it. I don't know. She sounds scary.
It's all. She sounds scary. Boo. Hashtag boo.
We'll see how that goes.
I think also finding the right place that's really accepting, because I learned a lot of my writing in Ariel Gore's Literary Kitchen, which is very female-centric and very accepting, and it's a lot of women's pain. And then like sifting through, I deemed this word in that workshop called therascribing, because I do get a little tired of reading people's therapy writing, because I want to do writing. Like I don't need to read their journal entries about their mom, because I would read this stuff and I'd be like, that isn't writing. That's not like a thing, a publishable thing. It's just them trying to figure it out. So I'd lose my patience a little bit, which is my own problem. But I found that group was so accepting of the hard stuff that it made you feel really safe. And I almost got like, I forget that other people weren't gonna like it, because to them, this very supportive group of women, and Ariel Gore herself, a lot of her writing comes from that place of pain, where then she finds a way to survive it. Like she wrote this really great piece called Blood Red Bougainvillea, which is about the pain of losing in a relationship. The blood red is just all the pain that you go through in life, and it's beautiful, and it's actually uplifting towards the end, where I don't like it when people write like a vignette and it's all negativity and it like ends on that. I still want a little bit of a happy ending, or like summation in the end where I'm like, oh yeah, that's okay, fine, you brought me to hell and now I'm back again. And sometimes we don't do that in our culture, and we think it's because hipsters. We seem to think that we should just thrive in that arena, but we still want a phoenix rising. We just do a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I had in my book a piece that my publisher wanted that I did not want to put in there because it would have hurt my mom. And I have a piece in there already that hurt my mom, but my mom never saw the piece that really would have hurt her. And then somebody told me once that like a huge percentage of memoir writers, their moms are dead. And I was like,
I can understand that, because with mine, the
Available
whole
at
thing,
the vault.
available at the vault. The whole thing starts with my mom having an alcoholic car accident and a breakdown, and like really not parenting. And I had a lot of people who wanted me to write about me. I usually write fiction, but I talk about my troubled childhood pretty often, so a lot of people wanted me to write it, and I was like, there's not a way for me to omit that. So before I did anything with it, I had my mom read the whole thing, and I was actually really I was expecting her to be not okay, but she's sold more books of this book than you have.
Awesome.
So my mom is in the bar tonight playing Meat Bingo, and my mom built up this fear of what my book was going to be. I think she thought it was going to tell all of her secrets or something. Right. She didn't know it was going to be about me, not her.
Right.
And I wanted to organize because a lot of like groups of women have done my book for like book clubs and stuff because it touches on so many topics that have to do with being an irreverent woman. And older women especially love it, like because they're finally, you know, their whole lives they've been somewhat silenced. And I think one of the greatest things about Trump is the post-Trump years is that women are coming out now and speaking because they have to. They feel like they need to speak up now. And older women in their 60s always write me emails, and they love it. They love to hear a woman just push back.
Right.
And so my mom lives in one of those 55 and over communities, and I thought for sure she'd want to like have a group of women like get together and talk about it. And I was, at the time, it was early on when my book came out, and I was trying to come up with like ways to sell my book and stuff. And oh my God, my mom's response was, I don't even want them to know you wrote a book. And I was pissed. I didn't talk to her for a really long time, and I was like, oh, lesson learned, don't do that to my children one day. Lesson learned, don't say that to my children when they become something. Just, you know, don't just dismiss it out of your own fears for your own life or world. But in the end, there's really nothing that salacious about my mom.
Well, and what's interesting to me is I have been going to events, conventions and stuff for several years now, and I've met a lot of writers who do not have any support from their family and friends because they're sure that they're writing about everyone around them. And
well, we're so narcissistic.
Yeah, and you know, it's, if you are one of those writers, keep writing.
Yeah.
Because eventually, I hope that everyone gets over it and realizes that although everyone in our lives is a character in our story, it's still our story.
Well, it's interesting that we're at my bar talking about this because when I bought the bar, this bar came with, you know, a very big standing in this city, and it's very loved by all people, and it came with a cast of characters already. And one of them is this character that I loved. Now, not everybody loved him, but I loved him because he was a character. I found him to be interesting. And the interesting side twist to it is he has swastikas tattooed on his arm. But I don't always judge people from one standpoint. I don't judge their whole lives from this one thing. And he would come in here and he played little games. He was like a hustler, which I really liked about him. And so one day I wrote a piece about him. And I posted it where I post a lot of my writing, which is on Facebook. And the reason why I do that is because I had 2 agents and a publisher come to me who read my stuff on Facebook. That's how I got my book deal. And I posted it, and it was really good. Like, I nailed him. It sounded like him. The dialogue was him and everything. And in it, I say, you know, we're not born with swastikas tattooed on our body. And I wanted to get his story. And I would ask him, when are we going to have the conversation about the swastikas? And he'd always say, you're not ready yet. You're not ready yet. Like, he was trying to get to know me because I just bought the bar. So I posted this on Facebook, and I lost a ton of people coming in the bar. They were so mad that I wrote about him. And I was like, and I ran into him, and he was so mad. I ran into him in another bar, and he was like giving me the stink eye or whatever. And I was trying not to laugh because I thought it was hilarious. And I went up to him, and I grabbed his arm, and I was like, I don't think you got that. That was a love letter to you. But all what you saw was swastika, and you thought I was judging you. But if you read it, it wasn't. I was saying that you are a really interesting, actually more than interesting, fascinating person that I would like to know more. He had a perfect opportunity to kind of like teach me about his world, and he blew it because he got too proud. Mm-hmm. But in the process, a bunch of people warned me not to write about people, and I was like, fuck that. I'm going to write about people because they're interesting, and if they look at it and not be so defensive, they'll see that I only wrote about it because they're interesting. And I put a poster up in my bar that warns people that I'm an author and I might write about them, but then I have a caveat that says, but you're not that interesting, so have another yucca, which is our famous drink at the bar, because another side effect of writing that story is that people also said, I want you to write about me, and I was like, what makes you think I would write about you? Like, you haven't done anything that's like sparked me
Right.
in a way of how can we have a cool conversation about this, and then how can I write that cool conversation so that other people can kind of, I don't know, learn what I was learning, which is that, we're not born with swastikas. He's not at protests. I don't even know if he still believes in the tattoos. They're really old. But it was enough for me to be like, what's this all about? So writing about people can be so incredibly hard, but I will not stop, because other people who will never meet someone who has a swastika tattoo might read it and just maybe try to have a conversation and try to figure out why we're all protesting and fighting. And if we actually listen to people, we might learn a little something,
Right.
Because, here in the West, we're in a freaking little bubble of, liberal world. It's nice. It would be good to learn how the rest of the country thinks, and, I bet we're all more the same than we think. He was, he was just like hustling for a job and trying to get through his days, aren't we all?
I just want to get my kids to travel as much as possible. Like, we live in a town of 2,100 people.
Yeah, that's
it's like
crazy.
96% white.
I'm surprised it's that big, actually. Wow.
It is.
We're 9,500 in Astoria.
Yeah. And I want them to get out and see all there is to see and do all there is to do. And then come back.
Right.
And share that and make, their town better.
Well, if anything, because my kids have traveled all over, and if anything, they won't always remember individual relationships, but in the process you can teach them to travel without judgment. You don't know why other cultures do things, and in our culture we romanticize other cultures because we're such an island that physically, with Canadian and US and Mexico, we're not around a lot of other cultures. And so what I've had to always teach my kids is you might not understand why other kids do it. You're just take the information in and remember it. Because we were in Guatemala once, and these kids that my kids were playing with were killing every lizard they could find, just like for fun. And my youngest was like losing his mind. He just hated this so much, and he was mad. And I was like, this isn't your world, it's not your culture, and look what they have. Nothing. They don't have toys. They don't, they're playing a rock game in the street. They don't have shoes. They don't have anything. So the lizards are their toys, and you have to remember that. I didn't bring you here to be all judgmental about it, so I hope some of that they learn or something, but I don't know what they'll learn. We'll find out when they're older.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Yeah. But the writing is what you write about and who you write about. I don't know, it's tough.
We'll see what comes out of it.
Yeah. I'm starting to write a book about the bar, but I already wrote a book about traveling, and the traveling one, there's no one I'm going to really hurt because it's all like observations I've seen from around the world, but the one in the bar, I'm going to have to be careful for sure, because there's some really messed up people that come in the bar that are interesting, but what I don't want to do is sugarcoat anything. I'm just trying to be as fair as I can to both sides, and we'll see.
Well, and I have some leeway because I typically write fiction, but I actually spoke to a writing group at Jen's bookstore about character development, and I was like, I don't develop characters. I totally write about people that I meet who are interesting, and I just plop them down in my story. And because people are fascinating, like you don't have to make a really grand character. You just pay attention to what's going on around you, and those people are there. And it doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while, somebody I know will read one of my books and be like, I really identify with this character, and
And in your head, you're like, I know that person.
It's you. It's you. No wonder.
Oh wow, that's funny. I've never had anything.
I think that's one thing that's inherent with most writers is they see things that other people don't see, and they take into consideration so many other things. Because I don't realize how detail oriented I am. every time I'm talking to someone who's not a writer or not a creative type, and they're like, oh, I didn't notice this, that, or that. I'm like, how did you not notice that?
I know. Yeah, so it's like the chicken or the egg. What came first? Did you notice people, therefore you're a writer, or are you writing so you notice these things?
I think I noticed things first. I remember being like 3 years old.
Yeah, I do too.
And
I think I started that way.
Yeah, I definitely think I was born that way. I've always been aware of my surroundings.
I'll tell you a creepy story. So there's this hot guy in town who's a prominent guy, and he's really, really good looking. He's the one that when he talks to me on the streets, I act like I'm 16 years old. I'm ridiculous. But we were at a city council meeting, and he was sitting like 4 rows up front. And the creepy part is I wrote an entire book about this couple that go on a road trip, and he reminds me a lot of the main character of it. And so in my mind, as I wrote more of the story, they kind of turned into the same person.
Right.
So I'm at this city council meeting, and he's sitting 4 rows up, and I'm like staring at the back of his head because why not? And I noticed that he shakes his leg, and he was biting his fingernails. And I was like, oh, I gotta go back. I gotta go back and change the book to him being a fingernail biter. It was the weirdest thing. Poor guy's sitting there kind of nervous because he was probably about ready to speak or something, I don't know. And I was like gonna pick up on his things he's probably not really psyched about, but he bites his fingernails, you know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah, but those are the things that make people real. Like,
Yes.
no one is perfect. And actually, I was talking to a young kid who wants to be a writer, and he started messaging me on Reddit. He's 17, so he's like, what kind of fashion are you into? And I'm like,
I'm a mom, whatever I find on
my
the floor.
pajamas a lot of the time. He's like, there's just something about a man in a suit. He's like, when I get my job, I'm going to be a man in a suit. I'm like, but you're still going to be you. I mean, like, are you aware of that? It doesn't matter how groomed you are and what you're wearing. Everything else is going to be the same.
Right.
It's
the suit won't change you.
Yeah. It's
Well,
just
don't tell
fabric.
advertisers that, because that's how they sell suits.
Well, that's true.
It'll change you and make you a man.
Yeah.
No, the price tag means you get paid for it might make you a man. I don't know.
I can always tell when people come into the coffee shop and they're not from, like if they're from Seattle, I can always tell like the second they walk in, because I'm like, that shirt costs like more than $25 and it has buttons. You are not from here.
I know that the people who come in my bar, they wear gray hoodie sweatshirts that are like stained up because often they are fishermen or they are longshoremen or contractors, and they wear gray hoodie sweatshirts all the time. So one time I came in, one of my bartenders was wearing a gray hoodie sweatshirt, and I was like, first rule in my bar is the bartenders do not wear gray hoodie sweatshirts. I like outlawed it. It's the only thing they're not allowed to wear in the entire bar is that one thing. It's so silly, but true.
Fashion is cardigans. Somebody was making fun of me a while ago, and because I had pulled up a picture from 3rd grade, and I was wearing a pink cardigan and a black shirt, and I was wearing literally at age 36 the exact same thing. It was a darker pink cardigan and a black shirt. And I was like,
It's been my thing my whole life. That's pretty funny.
cardigan enthusiast.
Yeah.
An avid indoorsman and a cardigan enthusiast.
I had
should
no
own a
idea.
bookstore.
I had no idea when we first became Facebook friends that we were so unalike in your like fear of anything slightly squeamish and really just kind of a high maintenance situation.
I'm
going on.
not. I'm not. Everything is from Target. Like, I'm not high maintenance.
Oh, you are.
No.
You are.
That's what I always wonder is like, what do I put out into the world?
I know my friends and I were talking about this once. Well, no, they were talking about it. I wasn't part of it. But my one friend, she's like super fun and goes to all these concerts, and she's a midwife and everything. And when we were talking about it, she was like, it dawned on her, and she was like, oh my God, I'm a fat woman with glasses. Like, that's what she's like, I'm putting that out there in the world. And I was like, but you're not. She goes, oh, but that really is like the description of me as this one thing. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of sad. Well, and me in this bar is ridiculous because I don't wear gray hoodie sweatshirts. So, yeah, I look
think
at it.
sometimes the things that come out of my mouth, like I don't look like I would say the things that I say. Like when I went to take my husband's coworkers as keys the other day, they were in a room and I'm like, it smells like sex in here. They're like, what? I'm just messing with you.
That is so good. I love that.
I guess I don't look like someone that would say that.
We had this bartender, she had face tattoos and a mohawk and tons of like 3 piercings in her lip and stuff. And before I hired her, we were sitting at the bar talking to each other. And in 5 minutes, she said, you know what? I look like the way you talk. And she had a really sweet voice. And I was like, and you talk like I probably should. I thought it was a very good compliment. Yeah. It's good to surprise people. I know. Well, I'm described a lot as brash, and I just think of myself as myself. I just don't know I don't even really know what that means. I don't have a lot of time for bullshit. I think that's the thing. I can't do small talk very well, and I don't like bullshit. It's boring. I usually want to get to like the more interesting parts of the conversation, so I just kind of get there faster for other people. I'm not sure.
Someone did call me irreverent the other day, and
I get described as that as a lot.
I don't know if that's, I don't know. Because when I Google, like, I kind of know what it means, but it
means
like
you don't really care.
But it was like the absence of reverence.
Oh, I know. I hate those descriptions. Like, when it's the opposite of what. So not this. What?
Yeah. So I don't know if I think that was a compliment or not.
It's good. I think irreverent is a compliment.
I've also been called a hurricane in a phone booth.
Oh. What have you been described as?
I get a lot of people who are like, "Oh, you're from Portland," and then they look away because I am from Portland. I moved to Longview, and I have an alternate lawn. So I've got like clover and wildflowers instead of grass, and I have a worm farm, and I compost and recycle.
I used to teach composting classes for Clackamas County in the 90s. It's all good.
Waste management is fascinating.
It is fascinating. That's what my degree is in, and that's what I worked in for like 10 years.
That's awesome.
And I used to have all these really cute worm bins that were like painted with cool stuff, and they were in our I would sell them, and they were in people's kitchens.
So I'm just the weird hippie writer maybe.
Okay, so here's a thing that I find interesting. How many people describe themselves as weird? Because I can't stand, I hate the phrase keep Portland weird, because I don't really think they are weird. I think Detroit is weirder than Portland by like 10 miles, but this thing that but I hear people tell me all the time, well, I'm just really weird, and I'm like, are you? I don't think that's weird. I think that's actually very Portland to do all the things you just described.
It's very Portland, all the
which
things
then makes it mainstream. So I guess I'm wondering, what is it?
I do not fit in the location I am currently at.
Oh, well, I think anywhere in the West you still fit in. If you were doing that in, say, maybe Kentucky.
Oh, yeah. So one of my very, very best friends, we did all of this hippy-dippy shit together. And she moved to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And she's like 5. I'm looking at my cameraman. 5'10", redhead. Like, she is the weird lady on the corner.
Right.
And like nobody wants to talk.
So I think if you were riding down the street in Kentucky, like, what is it, dressed as Darth Vader, playing bagpipes on a unicycle with fire coming out,
I was here when I was in Phoenix.
that might be considered weird.
Sure.
But Portland, weird? No, don't think so. I don't think so. I've been to far weirder places than Portland. I'm trying to think of one. I can't think of one right now. But.
I've been described as smug, which I find accurate.
Yes,
Yeah.
I can be smug, but I don't think I walk around smug. But if the opportunity arises, yes. It's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually because you're holding back. Not saying what you really want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which we are white women and taught from a very young age on TV and everything to be polite. I think it's very British. It's very colonial to like keep it in and not let it out, you know what I mean? Which makes us irreverent and rash when we do say, fuck you. Which I said the other night in my bar. The guy went from 0 to 60. He was like sitting there, was having a great conversation with his friend. I was actually telling his friend about the names I get called in the bar. And he was like, that is not acceptable. And I was like, this is a bar. It happens all the time. And then the guy was playing the video poker machine, his friend, and he punched the machine. And I said, hey, don't touch the machines. And he did it one more time. And I said, hey, you're cut off. And called me one of those names in 2 seconds. And I looked at his friends and I said, see? And I was like, and by the way, get the fuck out of my bar. Get out. So, yeah. Yeah.
I should get better at that, because there was kids reeking on the ball the other day, even though I have a sign that says, like, politely to not do that. And I'm like, hey, can we not? That'd be so great.
But don't you hate it when I think I'm used to having kids and workers where you say it nicely 3 times and they don't hear until you yell?
Yeah, my kids are like that sometimes.
So I just go to the yelling. It's easier.
Well, and what's funny, we have a friend who has the same full name as my son, and we were all at dinner together, both of our families. And my son was, I don't know what he was doing, he was being a kid, and I yelled at him. And our friend, who was older than me, on the other side of the table, snapped. I'm like, see, that's what's going to happen to you.
Yes.
You're going to grow up, you're going to hear that name, and you're going to know.
Yep, I know. My husband's we play bad cop, good cop a lot when we have contractors and stuff, because I write the checks and he's usually the one that works with them, and so it'd be better if I come in and then I'm the one that's distressed about something or whatever. And I just get right to the point, but it annoys him sometimes when he doesn't like always being the nice guy because they don't really listen to him very well. They start to steamroll over him and he gets mad, and then I come in and then, it's super uncomfortable, and then a person will walk away and call me a name or whatever, but the job gets done, and he hates that. Because he had a bike in a bike shop once for 9 months, and they wouldn't order the part or get it fixed. And in the end, he's like, I'm just going to take my bike back. And they're like, yeah, we took it all apart. We couldn't really find a problem with it. And he looks at it, and the mud from his last bike ride 9 months ago was still caked on it. So clearly they didn't take it apart. And I said, well, that's because you were nice about it. You let them leave that in there, and you didn't go to that bike shop over and over again and be like, where is my freaking bike? If you would have, it would have gotten done. Sad statement.
One of my friends says I'm the only person that would apologize if I got hit by a car. I'd be like, I am so sorry. It was my fault 100%. It's okay.
Gotta snap out of that shit.
I know. One day.
Yes. So how are we going to get you to come out with your writing?
You can stop taking medication.
Oh, is that it?
I think that's a good idea. I
No
don't know.
one would like that.
Then all the voices come out, right?
Medicated for your safety. Trust me. I don't know. I just need time to write it.
I came out with my writing pretty fast. I think because I don't really care. Some people care so much about their writing. I mean, every detail, but I kind of feel like writing should be a little messy because we're really messy as people.
Yeah.
So, but I don't write fiction books. Probably shouldn't be messy in fiction.
Well,
I write in a world that allows me to be
I
messy.
actually wrote an article last night when I couldn't sleep on my phone because Google Docs.
Oh, that's
and,
annoying. That takes forever.
Yeah, I just I have these moments where I have an idea and I have to write.
Yeah.
So I wrote an article, and I don't know where it's going to be yet, but about how I don't want to be a great writer. I don't want to be a great lyricist. I don't want to have words that are music off the page. I want to be a read writer. I'm never gonna.
You want to be accessible.
Yeah. People, we had talked about before, they read on Twilight and 50 Shades of Grey. But people read those books.
You do.
And
not everything has to be heavy and deep and dark because it's exhausting because life is heavy, deep, and dark.
Right. And I'm someone, I can't journal because writing to myself.
You didn't when you were younger?
No.
Did you?
I've started.
I journaled a lot.
I've started 1,000 journals. They have 12 pages filled in, and then.
But they're really
nothing.
pretty journals.
They probably are.
Like a leather etched cover.
Yeah.
Where you scratched your name in it.
But yeah, I write because I like people to read my stories, and I like to hear what they think about them. And so, even though, I'm dropping out of another literary group right now.
I drop out of all of them.
Because everyone takes it
Too serious.
Yes,
they do take it too serious. One of my favorite writing groups, they didn't all, there were a couple that took themselves so seriously, and I write funny sex stories, and they would just get all caught up in it. I was like, hey, let's drop the content and get to the writing part so I can get this published. And it drove me nuts. And then I finally decided never to be in writing groups again.
Yeah.
I'm good alone.
I'm making that decision probably the fifth time.
Well, I'm sure you have people, you
Yeah,
always have
yeah.
people, you can be like, hey, take a look at this, what do you think of this entry, whatever, but I don't know. I think if you care about every detail, it could be exhausting, and you always are trying to reach a perfection, and I think, especially when you get a book deal, I have friends who have book deals, and they worked on their books so many times, and I kept telling them, I was like, when you get your book to your publisher, they're gonna work on it again, so
Right.
aim for selling it, and the rest can be fixed later on, you know? They're not looking for... One of my writing teachers once told me about, I don't know if I told you guys in this last podcast, but one book is what was the Sun, the book, the original manuscript was 1,600 pages, and in the publishing process, they culled it down to 900, and nobody ever talks about 700 words that were lost in the world because you edit it so much. Well, that's all people's like messy areas. So just write the damn words.
Right.
Just get them out.
You've told me that like 5 times now.
Yeah.
I know. Actually,
You
I think
just
you
write
wrote
them.
it on the last thing I gave you.
I probably
You
did.
did. You did. I listened really well.
Yeah.
I'm busy.
Yes.
Well, ladies, I think it's our time.
I hear some cheering.
Yes,
Is
Meat
it
Bingo has
Meat Bingo?
begun.
Awesome. All right, we'll go check out Meat Bingo. Also, check out Meat Bingo Sundays at 6:30.
It's 6:30 p.m. 35-year tradition at Workers Tavern.
First Tavern in Astoria.
And buy our books
Yes,
so we can get second book deal
you can read my
That's
third
right.
grade journal.
about our pink cardigan.
It's true. It's true. Thank you. So this was our season finale
Yeah.
on location. So
Woo-hoo.
join us for season 2, which I'm guessing will probably be on location somewhere tropical.
Yeah.
I'm down with
Yeah, before or after we get our personalized Teslas. We're
Yeah.
gonna drive around
Yeah,
and
we'll work
promoting
on
the
that.
podcast.
Because of this podcast.
Yes, we're spending our
Because
money
of
ahead
this.
of time. We're
Yeah.
putting our cart before the horse, but that's okay. So join us for season 2
With the Kardashians.
with the Kardashians. We will be on location in Tahiti, and we'll see you then. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Brr.